Thank you very much. And so, but I always understood that, I wanted to do something different, right? And you're in this room for one reason. The one common denominator that everybody has in this room is you've got something in you that when you go to bed at night and you lay there are nights that you say to yourself, I need to do something better. There's something else here. It just eats at you, right? And if you weren't that person, you wouldn't be here, right? You're looking for something. You just don't always know what it is, right? It's a different fulfillment for you of something in some way, shape, or form. And I just always recognized that, right? And so when I left West Virginia, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I understood that I need to do it for myself, and I always recognized that. I just didn't know what it was. And my dad gave me awesome advice. He explained to me that while he had tried to set a good example as a father, and I think he did, and as a husband, and he was an awesome husband to my mom, and as a good Christian in the way to live his life with a solid belief that way. But he understood that, he worked as an electrician in a steel mill, and he realized that's not my path, right? And so what he wanted me to do is to find somebody else. And so his advice to me was, I've done everything that I can do to mentor you in what I think is the quality of how to live on a daily basis to contribute back. But what I can't do is help you get to where you want, because I don't know how to do that. And what you've got to do is to find somebody that lives the way you live, that has what you have, the directions you want to go in, and then you have to see more than one of them and find which one of their paths fit you. And what he was talking about was mentorship. That wasn't the word he used, but it was in fact exactly what he was describing. So when I left West Virginia, I understood the path was to find the mentors, right? And so I've done that, and fortunately, that's kind of paid off. At 21, I found myself in the financial business, right? I loved the idea of how helping somebody and families and working with them. I mean, that became very passionate to me. I was successful at that. I ended up owning a part of a parent company, and was responsible for. I had 22 offices in that, and 100 and some odd people that worked in my agency business, and did that in a couple of different parts of the country. Sold all that, and I didn't know what else the next thing was. If any of you are familiar in Jacksonville Beach, there's a place called Beachside Seafood, right? That's a restaurant out directly across from the ocean. And I bought that as a gas station and built a seafood market and restaurant, and built it all on a big deck, kind of a Key Westy sort of thing. And had that for about 10 years. I didn't run it. It was a part of our life. And at the same time built shopping centers like this, right? So I had a limited partnership, built some small mixed-use shopping center kind of things. What I learned in those two ventures was that I hated them. And the one thing about those kind of businesses is that while they were very profitable, I mean, they did very well, that what you're not doing is giving back to somebody else, right? Those businesses are designed with zero-sum gains, meaning there's $1, and if let's say that you built something like this and you're trying to sell it, right? Then your goal is to sell it for as much as you possibly can. The goal of the buyer is to buy it for the least they possibly can, but it's all the exact same dollar, and you're just negotiating back and forth on that same one. And it's like that if you're installing the ceiling, the floor, the concrete, every contractor, it's all one big giant negotiation over the same dollar, right? Which means it's a daily arm wrestling argument over everything, right? And I just decided I didn't like that. And from the restaurant business, right, you're at the mercy of the youngest waitress with, not showing up because her mom wasn't there to take care of her kid, right? And I want life stuff. So I learned those things and realized that it didn't fit. While profitable, wasn't there. And then I took a look I was trying to figure out something else, right? I turned 50, and I knew I had one more run in me, right? There was one more something, right? And so I was looking for the next business that was going to allow me that one more run. And because I am an entrepreneurial person and have owned some other businesses, if you're familiar with the Alhambra Dinner Theater, I own that with a partner. And so I recognize that, you know, how business works, right? Revenues, nets, all those kind of things. I'm not sure who that is. It needs to mute their phone, their Zoom, but but we're hearing you more than me. Then again, I'm star. See, light on me at this moment, right? So that became part of that, and so I was looking for lots of different businesses. So I wasn't looking to figure out, oh, how do I, you know, work with somebody and open an IRA for them. That wasn't my goal, right? I was just looking at businesses, whatever that meant, right? It could have been a McDonald's franchise, it could have been a UPS franchise, it could have been a scratch, something else. I mean, it didn't make a difference to me. What I was looking at and for was the business model. How does it work? And when I looked at our system here at our WealthWave team and part of our Transamerica Financial Advisors, what I looked at was a business model. And the business model that you're going to get more of today than anything else is that business model was designed for mentorship and transition. And to be able to help somebody to move out of wherever you are without having had any real entrepreneurial experience, to be able to understand what it's like, to be able to transition through, to be able to ultimately work for yourself. Now, the thing that you're going to find today is that takes some effort, right? And, you know, when you start up anything, I refer to it as the suckometer. You're going to suck, right? And the idea is that, you know, because you don't know anything about any of this, right? And so you have to move the needle on that, which means it takes a lot of hand holding, which means that it takes being around people that do understand that and move through that process. What built McDonald's was in the very beginning in 1955 was the fact that you could start frying French fries, and over a 5 to 7 year period through sweat equity, you got gifted a franchise and then be able to build it and go from there. Our business model works that way. Any single one of you in here, anybody can start out at the level of just figuring it out, suck. I mean, really, just like, God, I suck at this, right? You can start there, and over the course of time, with effort, leadership, and mentorship, what you're able to do is move the needle on that suckometer and potentially build an empire. One of the things that you're going to find is from how does a commission contract work, right? Ours are all the same. Once you get to a certain level in ownership, it doesn't make any difference. If you're that person that's making a few $100,000 a year, or if you're Tom and make $4 million a year, right? Or some other people in our system that make $8 or $10 million a year doing what we do, the contract's exactly the same. So what that means is that your opportunity as you sit here today and you suck, as you move, right? As you start out with that, your opportunity is exactly the same as everybody else in the entire system. That is awesome. From a business person's point of view, when you can start and know that you have no limit based on your own efforts, what's that effort worth to you? How much are you really willing to put in to be able to learn that? Are the first few years frustrating? Sure, because you're going to make a lot of dumb mistakes, right? And there's things that you're going to try and learn. You can't figure it all out. And you're going to do something that you thought was right. And then, you know, our leadership comes back, it's like, man, we need to undo this piece to make it right for the client, right? Because we're never going to allow a client to get hurt. So we look at it and think, okay, we got to redo a few of these pieces, and then you're frustrated by it. But you know what? That's how learning works. I mean, pick anything in your life that you've ever learned. I can assure you, you've done it wrong more than you did it right when you started. It's how it works, right? Ours isn't any different than that. But you have people that are holding your hand in the process of that, who also get compensated by your success, right? Therein lies the difference. These are people who are passionate about your learning and being able to be successful, because that's what moves our entire system. And then eventually you hit what becomes the ownership side of our business, and then you're kind of out on your own. And that's what you want to be able to do. capital expense, right? What's it cost to do that? Imagine being able to start something that you didn't have to start the restaurant, right? You didn't build it out. You know, Christine and I have known each other for 25 years, I guess, right? And she had a restaurant, right? And you know, what's it cost to put in hood systems and furniture, whatever, right? You got $300,000-$400,000 out of pocket before you sell your first meatball, right? And then you still got the learning curve that goes with that. Very difficult, very challenging. Imagine having a business that you could go into. Let's say it's a McDonald's. You go into a McDonald's, and the owner says, "I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know until you can completely do it. And then I'll even help you fund in the process of moving out, and you get to keep the profits while you're learning on everything you make." You think McDonald's does that? No, I can assure you. My neighbor owns 24 next door to me. They do not work that way, right? But they do here. So that's what you are able to do, is to come in. You start here, right? You've got the office, the facilities that are here in other areas. Everything is in that. All the marketing that comes behind that, everything related. The leadership that Tom Matthews and Kim and others in our office or in our areas are able to provide and come down and do. And you have all of that at your disposal to be able to build your business. So all you have to do is decide it's okay that I suck in the beginning, and then I'm going to learn from all the people that do it a little better than me or a lot better than me, and figure out what that path is. And for you, you're going to pick what that level is. If that's $2,000 extra a month because that sends your children to private school and some vacations that you want, and that's the level that you want to work at, God bless you. That's hugs and kisses for you from everybody around you, right? And on the other hand, if what you do is say, you know what, my vision speaker, what I want is an empire. I want to live differently than everybody else I know. Well, you know, there's thousands of people in our system that do that, and all of them are more than willing to help you in the process of that. So we welcome you in this morning. This today is about taking whatever level your psychometer's on and moving it a little bit, right? Please take lots of notes, right? Whatever you do, don't believe you're going to remember what you're going to hear, because you're going to hear a lot of people today, and panel discussions and things along that line. So make sure that notepad is full. The one thing I would suggest you about taking notes, don't listen to the specifics, listen to how they phrase it, all right? Because our business is about being able to communicate. It's about being able to take our thoughts and our ideas and our strategies and have somebody understand what that is, to be able to make that a relatable experience. And that's about words. So what you're trying to do this morning is to recognize that your goal is not specifics. It's to be able to make you a better wordsmith, right? Because that's really what you do. It's about you learning to be able to be a significantly better communicator. And then we let the product people teach you the specifics. And if you know how to communicate, you can take that language and move it forward into a different area. So with that, I want you to know how much we appreciate you being a part of everything that we're doing today. There are a big group of us that are here to be able to support and help you. And we look forward to being able to see you this afternoon. I think most of you are probably qualified to be coming to our afternoon bash, and so we're looking forward to that. You know, for those of you that have got a direct line to God, tell him about 3 to 6, it can't rain. You know? So whatever that phone call is that you need to make, or I guess we're in Christine's case, right? You know, I kid her about, you know, she's not Christian, but she's not a heathen. So call your out. Hey, help us out, right? I don't care who chants or what incense burns, just make sure it doesn't rain, right? So again, I do sincerely appreciate everybody being here, and thank you. And hopefully we can move your psychometer a little bit today. Thank you.